today.
I sent you an email about that.
Yep.
You haven't had any comment on any of that?
Nope.
Do you have any comment on Brad Bening being on that motion in limine about not talking about private judging when Brad Bening works for ADR Services? Would you like to comment on that and the optic on that? Don't you think the public has a right to know about the good, the bad, and the ugly of private judging? Mr. Mc-
This is Susan Bassey, and you're watching video of attorney Bruce MacLeod, who along with his partner Brad Bening is defending divorce attorney Mark Erickson in a civil malpractice and fraud lawsuit related to private judging. The case is one of the first known of its kind, and it's being heard by a jury. But on the eve of trial, Bruce MacLeod and Brad Bening asked Judge Sabin in a motion in limine to not allow the jury to hear anything negative about private judging or private judging in general based on news articles that our team had written and an article written in the Daily Journal. And so we're asking, if private judging is such a good idea as these attorneys continue to insist, why is it that they and the judges in these courthouses don't want the public to know about it?
Hi, Mr. Erickson, Susan Bassey. I'm reporting on your malpractice case. Do you have a comment? Would you like to talk about your attorney's motion in limine to keep out information?
I don't believe Mr. Erickson has a comment at this time.
Okay, well, thank you for your chipper help. I don't need your help.
Who are you?
My name's Susan Bassey. I'm in your motion in limine, remember?
You were?
Yeah, I was.
Oh,
You should read your own court documents.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I'm not in any court documents. I'm sorry. Which?
Don't touch
please
my
don't
camera.
touch me.
Don't touch me.
I was not trying to touch you.
Don't touch my camera.
I'm not
Do you
touching
know
it.
that it is actually unlawful to try to obstruct unpublished news gathering activity?
Mark Erickson is the divorce attorney at the center of this lawsuit, and he will face a jury and explain what he did to his elderly client and why it was not done with malice and negligence. Mark Erickson has also notoriously represented celebrity football players from the NFL in domestic violence and child custody cases. He's gotten them favorable child support orders and seen to it that they didn't pay the attorney's fees they were ordered to pay. He's also represented a number of women that went to the nonprofit known as Women SV, women who complained that Mark Erickson threw them under the bus in what appears to be an elaborate, high-asset and middle-class divorce case rigging scheme. But most interesting is that Bruce MacLeod's partner, Brad Bening, who didn't want a jury to hear anything about private judging, acts as a mediator and private judge and referee himself, and he is not complying with the rules related to private judging and referees, and yet he didn't want a jury to hear anything about that.
Mr. MacLeod, Susan Bassey.
Yep.
I'd like to ask you a couple questions about the trial with Mark Erickson.
Not today.
Would you like to comment on your motion in limine, where you specifically mentioned my work, but did not mention the Davis Vanguard, which was the publisher of that work? Was there a reason that you did that?
Bruce MacLeod and Brad Bening submitted a motion in limine, which is a motion that attorneys submit prior to trial asking a judge to make certain orders about what a jury can hear and what they cannot hear, and what evidence can come into the case and what will be excluded. They specifically referenced an article that we had written about private judging, and they also referenced an article written by the Daily Journal, a legal publication that judges get by way of taxpayer subscriptions and big law firms get through paying for those subscriptions, but the general public can't read. So we took Richard down to the law library where they get a subscription, and we had him read the article that was at the center of these attorneys asking a judge to not let the jury hear anything disparaging or anything at all about private judging. Local law libraries aren't public libraries where you'll find children's books, travel books, and regular newspapers. These are libraries that are dedicated to all issues related to the law. That means they have legal newspapers, they have publications that you couldn't afford to get as a just member of the public or a self-represented litigant, and law libraries are usually used by students, self-represented litigants, and attorneys who have small law firms that can't afford subscriptions to the Daily Journal newspaper or to any other publications that big law firms can afford.
Hi. I need to know where the copies of the Daily Journal newspaper are.
You're in the back. Oh, what dates do you want?
I need July 25th, 2025. That's what you need, pup. Do you need me to sign it out or anything?
No. You just need to bring it back.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Because Mark Erickson's attorneys were trying to keep a jury from hearing about private judging based on this article, I thought it was important to see if the client who had brought this lawsuit thought that the article was at least fair. And because the reporter who had written the article didn't want to share the article without paying a fee, we went down to the law library so that Mr. Erickson's former client could read the article himself.
San Francisco Daily Journal for Friday, July 25th, 2025, page 3. Ex-client says attorney colluded with opponent, private judge. By James Tomey, Daily Journal staff writer. An attorney whose former client demands $3 million in a malpractice lawsuit offered $45,000 to settle the case in which he is accused of fraud and collusion with opposing counsel and a private judge. Mark Erickson, who leads Erickson family firm in San Jose, has been accused of former client Richard Garcia of intentionally dragging out for 9 years a divorce case that still has not been resolved. Garcia claims the litigation cost him more than $2 million and his right to reimbursement of a $1 million property contribution. An unsuccessfully settlement conference Wednesday in which Erickson offered the $45,000 means the case will go to trial next month.
What is not included in the Daily Journal article is the fact that one of Mark Erickson's attorneys, Brad Bening, fancies himself a mediator as well. And while he wasn't able to settle this case involving his client Mark Erickson, he claims publicly to have mediated over 2,000 cases with a 98% success rate, leaving us to wonder just how successful Mr. Bening really is, considering he's not even legally posting the other cases where he appears as a private judge or a referee.
Garcia claims that his wife's attorney, David Patton, of Lonich, Patton, Eldridge, and Pasticastri, and the now retired private judge, he claims he was persuaded by Erickson to hire Michael Smith, colluded with Erickson to prolong the case, and continue to collect fees according to his settlement conference statement.
Ethical journalism requires reporters to reach out to both parties in a lawsuit, but beyond that, this case involved a divorce case between Richard Garcia and his former wife, Mary Lopez. And in the court papers related to Mark Erickson, Mr. Garcia alleged that his former wife was involved in stealing money with her first husband from a probate case, and now Miss Lopez is the subject of a lawsuit involving the rightful heirs in that probate case, and her attorney in both the divorce and the probate case is David Patton, the attorney who reportedly was getting the favorable treatment from the private judge that Mark Erickson had his client sign up for.
You the one stealing from probate accounts?
If you don't leave, I'm going to call the police and I'm going to have them arrest you for harassment.
You're going to have them arrested me for asking a question?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to talk to you.
I'd like to see you make that phone call.
Okay.
You have a right to say you don't want to talk to me.
You're right. I don't want to talk to you.
Great.
So don't talk to me.
Great. Do you want to talk about your private judging cases that you didn't list in the courthouse?
Not interested.
Did you know that Michael Smith, Rich Roja, James Cox are all concealing these private judge cases?
This video was taken back in 2021, which is why everyone was wearing masks as they were going to court. And as soon as I raised the issue of private judges not listing their cases in the courthouse, notice Mr. Patton's associate put her hand up, indicating that he should stop talking to me, because the attorneys who are participating in private judging and convincing their clients to use other attorneys as private judges don't want us talking about it or reporting on it.
Not today.
I sent you an email about that.
Yep.
You haven't had any comment on any of that?
Nope.
Do you have any comment on Brad Bening being on that motion in limine about not talking about private judging when Brad Bening works for ADR Services? Would you like to comment on that and the optic on that?
Mr. MacLeod looked a little uncomfortable when I brought up the fact that his partner, Brad Bening, is working for a private judge business known as ADR Services. He claims to have done over 2,000 mediations with a 98% success rate, and yet he wasn't able to mediate this case any better. He's also a private judge and a court-appointed referee, which is a court-appointed private judge, and we checked whether he was following the law in those cases, and we found out he wasn't. And we're going to continue to talk about lawyers and private judges and referees and the impact that has on all of us, including why there are no court reporters in California's courtrooms.
Hobby is they're going to be the type that are going to be something litigious assholes about any little thing that they don't think is.
Hi.
There's a lot of that going
I'm a reporter, and I'm reporting on private judging and court reporters. Are you attorneys?
We are, but we've got to get back to our office.
Okay.
But thank you.
I just talked to your court reporter.
And this week, while the jury is considering the malpractice case against Mark Erickson, we'll take you to Monterey and Santa Cruz County and show you what private judging looks like over there.
Okay.
But thank you.
I just talked to your court reporter, by the way. Support court reporters and cameras in the courtrooms.